Oh, Robbie! He says it! He says it!
Hey guys, welcome to episode 22 of the Friendlyjordies podcast. Your boy Robbie here. We've got Tom over here, and the big man, Mr.
J-Rod, Michael Jordan.
How you going? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, so do we.
God, there was a lot of false starts to that, but we're finally on track after a lot of mishaps in a row, including Robbie breaking the Goosebumps book. Does that mean we're going to stop? No. We're still going on with Goosebumps. Doesn't mean it's a bad omen. It just means it's old.
I can't believe you broke that, Robbie. It's not yours, mate.
I didn't mean to.
I know you didn't mean to, but...
Oh, I'm sorry to your cousin, Jordan.
Right. Well, I'm not really. Dude, no one has finished that book anyway. This is the first time we're ever going to do it on this podcast. Every other time you kind of read it for a while and then go, I don't know. Babysitter's Club has more structure.
Yeah. So, if you don't know, we read Goosebumps every week. Forget explaining that.
If you don't know that by this point, seriously.
Stop listening. All right, so we're...
You have no hope in life. Give up.
So last week we did the dinosaur edition, which we all loved, and we have got lots of awesome feedback, but unfortunately we're
including 4 people saying, my favourite dinosaur is... So we have had no feedback. People just came in to write about what their favourite dinosaur is. Yeah. And we asked for that, but at the same time...
Yeah.
God.
They were awesome comments. Can we get them up, Robbie?
Yeah, because some of them are just kindergarten level English.
Yeah, we're recording this, by the way, the day we released last week's pod, so we haven't had much time to get any of your answers, but...
don't really need to tell them that.
We love them all. They were very special.
Yeah, well,
seriously, Tom, what?
That explains why if there's a good one that comes up, that's why it wasn't read out. Because if there's a good one this week. All right, whatever, just read
very
out.
Very necessary...
Okay, so
procedural call to this.
Abe Parsons, who we all he's a long time listener. Big ups
shout out to
mate.
you, but you didn't win.
But yeah, what was Abe's one?
No, but that was great because Abe comments every single podcast. So we just had to say that Abe, not only was he the honorary investigative journalist from pod episode, I don't even know, but I'm sure Abe does because he loves this podcast a lot. And that's great. So basically, he got a special commentation for having a go.
Yeah, and you comment in the Podbean section, which is a bit more interesting than usual. Yeah, so Robbie, can you read out the winner, please? Which was, I don't know if we've actually discussed it yet, but I'm deciding right now that it was the one that said Stegosaurus. Can you read that one out, please?
Yeah, I'm just getting it up right now.
Yeah, you've taken a while, mate.
Should have done this before.
You've
got 2 computer screens. You have 0 excuses for that.
Here we go. So I'll just tell you some of the responses. We've got... my favourite dinosaur is Yilmaz. We've got Tony Abbott.
Paleontologists.
Yeah, Tony Abbott.
Not a favourite with them.
We've got Ankylosaurus. And then we've got the winner here, who says...
Who is it?
No. We want to read out the one that is just abuse at the dinosaur, essentially. He claims that it's his favourite. Having said that, he also sounds like he's glad it's dead.
Is that the tree one?
I think it's, my favourite dinosaur is the Archenosaurus. Kind of not really a dinosaur, but the dudes who discovered it thought it was a dinosaur, and it ended up being a fossilised tree. Classic.
That's really nice, informative one. But I was hoping for a comment that said fuck like 7 times in it, and then it's like 40 words.
There's one...
Good ratio, very good ratio. Almost at 20% of the whole comment is just swearing.
There's a Parasaurolophus, bitch. It says bitch.
All right, read out the winner, please.
And the winner...
just read it out, please.
Dead air,
Were you
essentially.
doing that on purpose?
Yeah, you're purposely bringing this show down, Robbie.
Making this pod shit?
You mother...
Insider mole.
Here we go. Victoria White, congratulations. You won with your comment, Stegosaurus, just because they have always fascinated me.
Yeah. Thank you for the honesty, Victoria.
I know, it's so appreciated.
It's so good.
The reason why we chose that as well is because Abe Parsons is just as honest as that. It's just as straightforward, and Abe Parsons has put in all the legwork, but we've got to just to say that we judge this on the merit, not on nepotism here. Abe Parsons is clearly our favourite child, but we've given it to whoever that was.
Victoria,
good on you. Nice name.
So what's the result of this, Jordan? What are we doing?
Vicky, you have won me fashioning a Stegosaurus out of a Milky Bar tab. So we didn't buy the individual wrappers that you get for always 99 cents at the front store. They are always on special.
Yeah.
Stop buying that many of them. They're not that popular. So instead, I've made this delightful, what is supposed to be a Stegosaurus, but I've got to say, looks more like a dog camel abomination.
It's really impressive. It's the fat man's whittling, isn't it?
It's a little sheep there.
Yeah. I have no experience in this, but I did it with my bare teeth. I'm that Smith's Kettles chip guy that looks up at the chip in the sunlight and goes, "It's ready."
It actually is really impressive. But anyway, no one will see it because Jordan's going to eat it soon.
Yeah. And as he is a Stegosaurus, I will pretend that I'm a carnivorous dinosaur, which I'm pretty sure we know no carnivorous dinosaur ever really did take down Stegosaurus, because that's terrifying. Why would you? Especially because when I was listening back to the pod, I realised that I didn't mention this little fun tidbit about them.
Okay. What?
So it's Dinosaurs Part 2, just way, way shorter. So it's a straight-to-DVD movie extension of that. They were able to put into their spikes shots of blood and make it flash. So it kind of looked like a police warning sign.
Oh, no way.
That's
awesome.
danger.
How do I know that?
With the symbiotic relationship of another dinosaur, whose name I can't remember, it was a week ago, and I don't even think I wrote it down, but their evolutionary advantage was that they were able to stand up and look around for danger, and because if you're a Stegosaurus, that's really handy to have, seeing as your head is always this far away from the grass.
Yeah.
So they're able to see it a lot sooner, and then their whole job in this symbiotic relationship was to just go... And they got free defense. They got a fort for that. That is a great trade.
That's awesome.
Fast forward to human beings, and the only time you could ever afford a fort is if you were a king, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah.
These guys just ate grass with them.
Working together.
Yeah. And so anyway, I'm just going to eat the Stegosaurus now.
Yum.
I can taste a lot of my fingerprints in on this Milky Bar.
Yeah, and that's been on the floor for a bit. Oh, thanks to
There's a lot of
FBI,
lint
by
on
the
it.
way, for bringing this studio to us every week. Very grateful.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to be moving on to a segment Jordan has named "How Hot Is Tom?" which is me, and we were talking about this before.
Love that you have to describe this.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to describe it. Someone else describe it.
No, you do it. You're halfway there.
All right. Well, we were saying before...
Oh, you vain pig.
Shut up. This is not how it went down, man.
Tom rates himself a 7, meaning he thinks he's an 8, but he just doesn't have the guts to say it. Pathetic.
No. So, we were doing that thing like as though we were schoolgirls saying, like, how hot is Sarah? And then we were like, oh, yeah, like, well, how hot are we? And we're like, Jordan, how hot do you reckon you are? And he's like, oh, easily pretty hot. Like 10.
I never gave out a definite figure.
He didn't. He
I
just
said,
goes-
very, very hot. And then Robbie said, what, a 9? And then I just touched my nose and did a little tap.
How did you know?
And Robbie was like, you were
Bullseye.
very quick to come to that.
I've thought about it a lot.
Yeah, like within a second, it was like, how hot do you reckon you are, Jordan? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty hot. Like straight away.
He goes like, yeah.
Not a perfect 10. I'm not deluded.
Very highly, very highly.
But yeah, I am the male peacock of the human species.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm
All
great. And I am.
And Robbie was...
Stop being so self-centered.
You were quite sure of yourself as well? How you gave yourself a 7, right? Which is pretty... It's actually
It's
like
a
quite
safe
a good range.
bet.
It
It's a
is
safe
yeah.
bet. You know, it's the safe number.
Yeah,
the
because we were
boring
saying
safe
that.
number.
You guys at home, don't you reckon that if you give someone a 6 or less, I can't believe we're talking about this. This is such crap. Like, all right, yeah.
I know.
6 or less, you're
the first
shit.
segment.
Yeah.
What originally started off as a podcast to discuss Australian politics has developed very quickly.
14-year-old bedtime
What
stories.
have we become?
This is sleepover
The first segment is called
Yeah, this is
How Hot
grim.
is Tom?
This is like the most boring bit of a sleepover.
Yeah, didn't that just like hit you? You were just suddenly like, what the hell?
I
What
know.
is this?
Where are we?
Yeah,
It didn't happen to me at all. I was really in trance. I wanted to know.
Because we were talking about how hot you were.
Yeah, of course you'd love that.
Yeah, that was 95% of it.
All right, so we'll go on with the game nonetheless. The game is Jordan and Robbie will say how hot they think I am, and then I have a minute to try and convince them that I'm hotter than that, and that then they have to reconsider. Can we move on? Let's not do it.
Shut up. You 6.5. That's what I reckon. What do you think it's Robbie?
Go on.
6.5s don't get a say.
Say it
What do
to
you
my
think you're
face.
7?
I reckon 7.5.
Why are you currying favour with him?
Yeah, what the
you
hell?
agreed with the 7 before. Why did you up it by 0.5 just then?
I don't know.
Look at him scratching his beard nervously.
Yeah,
He's scared
he's
that
nervous.
he's going to hurt Tom's feelings.
Yeah, well, that's a bit offensive, actually, so I'm going to start
Well,
my
no,
minute.
do you know what?
Did you think that we were going to do the same thing as chicks do and go, no, you're a 9, Tom, a 9?
Well, at the end of this minute, I hope
Look,
you will, yeah.
look, the reason I did it is because you did a 0.5, which I didn't know why.
So it's even out to
So
a
I just
7.
did the opposite of what you did. I just went, okay, I'm going to take another stance here, and then I'm going to defend it.
Yeah, that is really your style, isn't it, Robbie? God, I would not like to be your parents and toilet train you. Just so oppositional about everything. She done the toilet, Robbie. Oh, Christ, it's on the floor again.
We don't want to have the same opinions, do we? For God's sake.
Just say the same thing. All right, fine.
Why do I
All
have
right,
to poo on the floor?
6.5 then, Tom. 6.5.
All right, well, I just want to say firstly that we all know that when I was younger, as I'm sure everyone knows who knows me, I was quite overweight.
Okay.
And I've changed a lot since then. We've all seen the
He's
photos.
going for the biggest loser angle. Look at where I've come from. Judge me on that.
Yeah, it's all relative. Yeah, and I just think that, I've got put on a bit of weight lately, but I think...
Yes. And he's so self-conscious about it. Every time we come up and speak for the pod, he will definitely bring up, guys, do you think I've gotten bigger?
We're like, this is so shit. This is so shit.
Worst thing. I mean, I
hate
said it
this.
last time.
I hate this pod.
This is some... All right. Come on.
Keep going.
No,
You've got
that's
30
all I
seconds.
have to say.
That's all you got to say. You used to be fat, and now you're fat.
Again.
Do
So
you
what are
think
you
that we
saying?
did-
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, you guys are my mates. Like, come on.
Give me more.
Yeah,
Is
at
that-
least a 7.
I'll give you 7.5. I'm going to stand by that, actually.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. Yeah. I think that's pretty mean, Jordan. I'd give you at least an 8, 5.
Man, yeah, actually, I do feel like giving you a 7 now. Which is so odd because you said 2 incredibly negative things about your physique,
Yes.
and then guilted us into it. It actually works.
Yes, awesome.
That is it. We learnt something from that segment.
I became hotter within a minute.
So I stay with a 7.5.
Yeah, thanks, man. Oh, well, you didn't go down at least.
Yeah.
It's impressive, isn't it? We have discovered that you're able to raise the level of your attractiveness by begging, essentially.
Yeah, I
Maybe
definitely
that
went
tactic
with
works in the club, and I know that you're already a golden dragon, Robbie, but,
What's
you
your
can't
advice
hold
on
on your
that, Robbie?
title forever. You've got to get out there and try new things.
Okay.
Climb new mountains.
All right.
You're not going to do it.
I'll do it. I don't know what that was.
He's wearing a shirt that has a pie on it.
Do you want to give us any kind of update on what happened with your number that you got?
I don't know if I should.
All right, we'll move on. So now we're going to...
Disaster.
I just don't want the police to get involved again.
all right, let's do Goosebumps. So, yeah, as usual, this is brought to you by Lonely Kids Club. By the way, we're getting very close to starting to sell our merchandise, which we've made a really cool hoodie and, a T-shirt. I was telling Robbie earlier in the week, yeah, man, we've got a hoodie and, no T-shirt, though. No T-shirt, just a hoodie. And he was like, why the hell would you only sell a hoodie? But
We have done the exact same mistake primary school captains make. That is year 6 marketing. Hey guys, we've got hoodies. We wanted to get shirts, but we forgot to tick that down in the box. But they're coming soon, so you can get them if you want.
But yeah, we've got shirts as well, it turns out. So, yeah, they'll be coming out real soon. But yeah, Lonely Kids Club, thanks. They helped design it. They did pretty much all of it, actually, so good work. And Rye, thanks for doing the initial design as well. So, all right. Robbie.
We're doing Goosebumps now.
Yep.
That's why you got it out.
Okay.
The broken Goosebumps.
There's no way you can fit through the bars. Stinker. You whisper.
You've got to sneak through the bars and get those keys. It's our only chance. I can't do it.
Stinky whispers. Oh no, he says.
What the hell? What the hell, mate?
Why did you?
You're
why did
reading
you
it.
invent it in your head? It's in front of you. Just read the script, you idiot.
You just made it up. You're reading a book. What are you talking about? That's not what he says.
Fool.
I can do it.
Stinky whispers.
I know I can.
Your little brother slides one leg and arm between the bent bars, then his shoulder. He turns sideways and slips the rest of the way through. He's out. You give him a thumbs up. Then you point at the counter. He tiptoes over, grabs the keys, and rushes. And rushes back to... He tiptoes... This is bullshit.
Keep going, keep
This is
going.
bullshit.
Just read it, mate.
It was cursed. It was cursed.
He tiptoes over, grabs the keys, and rushes back to your cage. You did great, you tell Stinky as he unlocks the cage. You're free. Oh no, you don't, Zoe screams from the doorway. You gulp. She is surrounded by her mutant pals. You're not going anywhere, she snarls. Your eyes desperately scan the room for something, anything that might help you. The cages, the tables, the tape player. You feel in your pockets. Could you have a weapon? A bribe? Nothing. You come up empty. Or do you?
Is that the option?
If you have a cassette tape in your pocket, go to page 116.
What the hell?
Try harder. Try harder.
If your pockets are empty, go to page 129.
God.
Jesus.
What?
Christ.
Why would you have the cassette tape? Is there something in there?
There is nothing to indicate what that could do.
Why you'd have it? Why would you have a cassette tape in your pocket?
Also, we're going to have to actually choose
It
ourselves.
was a different time.
Why would you? Oh, right, because no one could have voted on... Wait, what?
Yeah, because the voting is not going to be able
Work.
to happen. Yeah.
Oh, right, because we're recording another one.
Yeah.
All right, well, what do you want? Cool, for once we get to actually choose what's happening.
We'll choose this one.
Okay. I like the idea of...
Wait. Aren't we going to be going to another choice, though, at the end of this?
Not in the same pod.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, you're right.
This can be done off air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do you reckon? Cassette or nothing?
is incredible. What a good podcast. I like
You tried to sabotage this from the start, mate.
book isn't trying. Nobody is trying.
Yeah.
Even written words are on strike. I say I like the idea of us not really knowing that we have a tape recorder in our pocket, and then we check, and by dumb luck chance, what do you know? We have something that is... There are TVs that are smaller than some tape recorders. Especially when this was made in 92.
Yeah. I reckon the cassette tape's more interesting, but I kind of feel the other one will... I reckon it's a trap, maybe if you have nothing. Or do you reckon it's just common sense? Like, if you have nothing, you'll just get killed.
I think it'd be funny, to have nothing and then we'll just die.
Yeah, all right. Let's do that.
You want to do that? Or
Yep, but let's do that in the next pod.
Yes.
Let's stop talking about Goosebumps. Let's go.
good idea.
All right, so now we're going to move on to something that Jordan's been wanting to talk about for months, which is...
And like the man who this is about, I had to do the reps first. Don't ever go out unprepared.
This all started, I don't know what compelled him to do it, but he got the autobiography of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's been reading that for weeks, and he loves it. Do you want to explain it, Jordan?
The reason why I got it in the first place... I'll tell you why, Tom.
Yeah, why?
It's kind of confronting for you, frankly, is that for some bizarre reason, Tom believes that The Rock is the best action hero of all time.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I reckon he's really good.
But, okay. Okay. May I just, instead of you answering this question, can I please just put words in your mouth, Tom?
All right.
The reason why I think that you
Please.
think...
Go on.
It's all because you watched wrestling as a kid, heaps, and you have fond memories of not wearing a shirt and boxers and eating Cocoa Pops straight out of the box.
Yeah, that's really accurate.
At 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I went and saw Kane do a autograph signing. Do you know Kane, the mask?
When?
When I was really
Yesterday?
little. I just remembered it today. Yeah. And I remember that a big thing was, like, he didn't have any, like, burn marks behind his... Like, we could see around his mask, and he had no burn marks. And there was, like, a big plot line in the story was, like, under his mask, like, Undertaker threw him into a fire. That's why he wears a mask. But there was no burn marks.
But you were well aware at that point that it was fake, and then you were surprised that he wasn't a mutilated freak.
Yeah. For some reason, that part of the story should have been true. Anyway,
the
yeah, so
innocence of
I
a
did grow up
child.
watching The Rock, and yeah, no, but I think besides, yeah, like, if you see Doom, I think everyone has to agree that The Rock is by far the greatest action hero.
What?
Mate, I have a degree in film.
Yeah, actually, like most people, when they bring up that they have a degree in film, the other person kind of... Yeah, I'm speechless.
No, yeah, all right. Well,
been 3 years studying this.
Schwarzenegger's clearly a better actor, but I think as a person...
What? I watched the beginning of Twins the other day.
All right, no, he's not a better actor.
Every
He's not
scene
a better
that Danny DeVito has is unbelievably unfunny. The whole premise of it is just crap.
Yeah. It is, yeah. It's
Having said that, it's the most profitable movie Arnold Schwarzenegger ever did.
More than Terminator.
For himself, for his own personal
'cause
profits.
he
Because
earned
they
equity
came
off
up
that.
with the idea maybe half an hour before walking into an executive's office, because they were all sitting together going, wouldn't it be funny if like DeVito and I were twins? And then DeVito was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go see the Universal like CEO about this idea.
Yeah.
After they'd just written the idea down on a napkin, going, yeah, and you're good, long last, that's perfect, let's go see it. That's all they had. They walked over to the CEO of Universal Studios because it had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, and he was, I think the phrase is, hot at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just went, I love it, perfect, let's start tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Danny DeVito has it up, the napkin up on his wall as just like a, I can just piss ideas out. I can piss them out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have that on DVD.
Yeah. Do you remember watching it? I don't know if you've seen it recently, but it's just one of those things that after a while, the older you get, funny movies become less funny, and things of, I don't know, say Donald Trump announcing his presidency, that becomes hilarious.
Hilarious, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes, he was hilarious as a kid because he has a funny voice, but you understand how much more hilarious that is as an adult when you're watching this, and he clearly has no right or position to be in Hollywood whatsoever, apart from sheer determination. He sounds ridiculous. He can't act for shit. You know that in Terminator, this was all part of his biography, and he says it in this light, but it's clearly not this is not what happened in the situation. You can see what happens, but he says, I came there to read with James Cameron. What's his name again? James Cameron, right? Yeah. James Cameron, the director, the part of the guy that comes back in time, not the robot, to save the guy from the robot. John Connor's like boot lackey, that kind of thing. Yeah. And I was reading it, and then halfway James Cameron goes, hey, I've got an idea. How about you be the robot? And I said, but I want to be the hero. I don't want to be villain. And then he's... it's fair. Even though he's been governor of California, this is a very, very simply written biography. He could have gotten, and he probably did. He probably did have shadow writers, obviously. He's not going to spend his whole, like, a year writing his whole life, right?
Yeah.
But still, even the writer, like, he must have just been saying essentially gobbledygook, and she was going, fuck, how do I turn this into a grammatical sentence?
Wasn't he one of the worst governors California's ever had?
Well, not according to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He had some really good points about why he was a good governor, though. He introduced massive climate action in California, the likes of which was basically world premiere level. It was ahead of most of the planet at that point. he led the charge. He was on the front of Time magazine with Mayor Bloomberg because both of them announced really sweeping action on climate change, including Arnold Schwarzenegger was the first, and this is great that Tony Abbott just picked it up off him, which is the 1 million solar panels in California was his
like running thing.
That was his running thing.
All right.
He also started up he started the process to get to a cap and trade agreement within California, which is, as he's always pointing out, he was always saying that, yeah, I couldn't be president, but I should have been in the G20 meetings with the 16th largest economy in the world.
Because California is.
Yep. So that's a huge portion of the planet that really he helped get them to a point where they are now looking at a reduction of 20% of emissions by 2020. They've surged ahead. They get...
I can't believe you're arguing Schwarzenegger was like this great leader. What about
a man for the days?
What did James Cameron say to him?
What is timely about this guy? He looks like a yak herder. Admittedly, a very...
That's a great description.
Very handsome yak herder. No one's saying he's not, but like a yak herder that you'd see in Nazi propaganda is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and now he was governor of the United States, one of the most free-rating economies and societies on the planet.
It's awful. Like like if you saw the size of the book you've just finished, the book is so fat.
It was a big feed.
It's like 1,000 pages.
Mind feed. Yeah. I could have read Lord of the Rings. But instead, in the same amount of pages, I just learned about a guy that was saying that I knew that when I was young I was going to be a bodybuilder because like I could lift more than the rest of my friends. That was my ticket to America. How much less imaginative and interesting is that story as opposed to The Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Is he like an idol to you, Jordan?
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
That's great. But, in regards to the Cabra story, if I may finish that, he's saying that, and then James Cameron's trying to convince him that, no, a robot's a really hard character to play. Many actors in Hollywood would be unable to play a robot. It's so difficult. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's lapping this up, going,
Yeah, go on.
To that, yeah. He goes, I'll have to think about it. Yeah, and then he went home, and then James Cameron kept buttering him up until eventually he said, all right, I'll play the bad guy. But obviously what happened in that situation was James Cameron saw that he could not speak English, let alone act. So he had 2 massive marks against him, but he needed the name because it was the only one, because he was Hadaf Conan, the barbarian. So he obviously needed to rung him in for some star power that he could afford.
Did Schwarzenegger put it that way in the book? Or
No, he put it in as like, he saw that I was like good at reading the robot parts, so he thought I was better suited to do it, and it hasn't clicked in his mind 30 years later that he was shit.
How is this guy a personal hero to you? You're explaining why he's a dunce.
It's raw determination, isn't it? What has that guy got going for him apart from the fact that he's incredibly muscly? That's his only asset in life. He didn't even know English when he went to America. All he could say in bodybuilding championships, right up until he won his 4th Olympiad.
Yeah.
He was terrible, and every time they were like, come up, speech, Arnold, when he'd win, he'd get up with his massive belt and his huge muscles, and then he'd go, hello, I love America. America, USA. Which is all you need, really, is the skill to win an election in America, isn't it? You just have to really just G up America a lot in your speech. That's the key. Doesn't really matter about policy, it's just who loves America more. if pretty much the first words you learn, much like a baby, how they go, gang, gang, the first words he learned was like, I love America! Yeah. That's a real good start. It's a very good start, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing that I really like about him is in terms of governor, he was a very moderate Republican.
Really?
Which kind of, he was actually able, according to Arnold Schwarzenegger, able to get things done in Sacramento, which is the capital of California. Yeah. He was able to bridge the gap between Republicans and Democrats by getting enough of them on side because his policies were so mild. But what happened in California, much like it happens in the rest of America, is that electoral lines are drawn up by what's called gerrymandering, which is that you find who is the most, say, liberal constituency, and then you just make that into an electorate. So the guy who wins in that seat is just going to be the biggest hippie ever that just rocks up to Sacramento, sits in their parliaments in a tie-dyed T-shirt, and then smokes marijuana going, oh, I've got a problem. My back hurts. And obviously the same thing happens with the Conservatives. He was able to reduce gerrymandering, according to him, draw up the line so that they became more moderate, because his whole political philosophy, after being a huge Milton Friedman fan, which was the guy that created neoliberalism, so the system that we have now that makes you and I essentially serfs, so he was came from a really extreme economic theory.
So he's a big fan of that, but good leader
moderate, very moderate. Yeah, he could contain his excitement. So when he went up to the Republican convention, when George Bush had just finished speaking, and obviously the Republican convention, whoever's just the most Yahoo Bible basher wins, right? Yeah. So he comes up and he says, we've got to be more moderate. We're becoming obsolete. Nobody thinks that, can't you see anybody who's not at this convention thinks our party's a joke? Just come back to the center a little. We've given that up to the Democrats. He gets off. And then Governor Rick Perry gets up, the guy that is standing up at the convention going, and there's 3 organizations that I'm going to get rid of when I become president. That's going to be the Department of Accounting, Tax Department. Oh, what that third one again?
Yeah.
That guy comes up next and he's just like, keep going further. We were making some great wins in Texas. And everyone's like, yeah, to that guy.
Right, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was, in comparison to a Republican, quite mild. So he's probably about as extreme as Tony Abbott, really.
So that's why you love Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Tony Abbott with a German accent, which is why I like Matthias Corbyn here, who is our current finance minister. It doesn't matter what he says, does it? It just brings a smile to your face. It's a good accent. So essentially, that whole massive ramble to convince you that Arnold Schwarzenegger was good was, you got to admit, the accent's great.
No, I still really don't like him. What's your... who do you prefer, Robbie, Stallone or Schwarzenegger? Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
You really are alone on this, aren't you? No one on the planet would agree with you, I think, that...
I reckon Stallone is more hilarious to me. Stallone's a funnier
Would you rather
character.
have a dinner with...
I think Schwarzenegger's been overdone. Schwarzenegger's the accent's been overdone. The comic of him is a bit annoying because he knows he's funny. Stallone still takes himself pretty seriously, I think, compared to Schwarzenegger at least. The Rock, he's something else because he has always kind of taken himself as a joke a bit, but he doesn't see how much of a joke he really is. So I feel like he's perfect.
So essentially, who our favourite action hero comes down to is who's the best muscly clown.
Yeah, basically. And I really think The Rock wins that because he thinks he's a clown, but he has no idea how much of a clown he really is.
I agree with that, yeah.
Come on. Schwarzenegger knows how much of a clown he is, and he is that much.
So what?
So it's annoying because he knows he's a clown. The Rock's different, subtly.
Oh, Carl, you are not giving him any props at all.
Yeah, no.
You have to, nothing.
No props.
The Rock's in his prime right now.
Yeah, The Rock's the new Schwarzenegger. Get with the times, man. Yeah, highest earner in Hollywood last year.
That is the dumbest reason I've ever heard for liking someone. He earned a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like you vote for Donald Trump on that. He earned the most. That's what got Tom's vote. It's because he raked in close to $1 billion.
I was just
you don't get that unless you're amazing.
I was just so shocked that he was the highest earner, and the photo he posted when he was like, "I did it, baby!" Highest earner in Hollywood 2014 or whatever year it was, and it was just him with the biggest smile on his face. It's so stupid. I'd be way more sad if he died over if Schwarzenegger died. I reckon.
Yeah. Nobody's doubting that.
You are he's just got such a psychopathic smile on his face as well. Where he said, "I'd be happy if Arnold Schwarzenegger died."
I didn't say I'd be happy.
That was quote. Move on to the next segment before he has a chance to defend himself.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to Tom Tzinski, which Jordan has written down.
A delightful play on the words of Dr. Carl Krasinski, heard on Triple J Radio. We've got our own in the studio today, Tom Tzinski. What have you got for us today? What magical wonders have you bought?
Well, I went today to see the Lawrence Krauss and Professor, who is a professor, and also Professor something else, can't remember his name, something Davies, I think, talk at the Opera House today, and it was really good.
You might remember Lawrence Krauss from pretty much any porn store that you've ever walked into, and the guys tried to sell you a bike for almost exactly the same price as you could get it brand new.
What are you talking about? Do you think he looks like he's like he'd pawn you off them? He's just like the geekiest guy you'll ever see. He's a...
Oh, but the slicked back hair gives him such a...
Yeah, sure. What you got in your pants?
He's like incredibly nerdy. Like he's always fumbling with his glasses and stuff, but he's very charismatic on stage. So it's a bit of a... He's kind of a walking contradiction. But he's awesome. He's really cool. Yeah, so anyway, I came back from this talk all excited and happy because it's just the coolest talk ever, and I told Robbie and Jordan all about it.
He was wearing a jumper that if you were going to typecast a nerd in Hollywood, you'd have a much better chance of getting the part if you wore that jumper.
Sure.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I told them all about it, and so basically I'm going to quiz them on it because I reckon that they didn't listen to a word and they were just being really polite.
Not true.
So, are you ready, guys?
Yeah.
So the lecture was all on, his lecture was all on the origins of the universe.
Robbie, I'm glad he told us that. I forgot even that.
Did you?
All right, so first question is, how do we know... All right. What?
Should have written these down beforehand.
Yeah. How do we? How do we measure?
You just went to a science lecture. How good is that? That like Tom is the smartest person in this room. He didn't even think to write it down, and he has that same look on his face of a caveman trying to comprehend how did the fire start.
All right. How do we measure that the universe is expanding?
You look on the map that has that shows the remnants of the radiation from the billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a second after the Big Bang.
No,
and it's to do with gravitation, gravity, and.
That's actually a very good answer, Robbie, but it's not for the right question. But yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Something to do with putting up two metal poles across the desert.
Once again, no. Good answer again, but no.
It's to do with waves. I think I remember the waves.
All right, we'll talk about the waves.
Gravity waves, is it?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, the gravity waves. That's the pole thing. That's really cool.
Was it? Okay.
So that's how they have measured that the universe is... Well, they haven't actually got like an empirical... evidence of that yet, but they're really thinking that they're going to get it soon. But that's like measuring that the universe is like they can see the kind of the remnants of like the first within like a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a second after the Big Bang because of gravitational waves, which literally bend time and space, which is really cool. But I don't really understand that at all. But yeah.
You know, it'd be great if Lawrence Krauss came up, said all of that about the gravitational pull, and then said, and we have found that this is the cause, and then clicked on something, and there's this real distant space shot of this elf with a little pixie wand.
Yeah, that's how, yeah. Yeah, that was the best thing about the other speaker.
Amazing discoveries in the last few years.
Who would have thought? Yeah, that was the coolest thing about the next speaker was the dude was just like, it was all about like the origins of life. And like in comparison to Lawrence Krauss, who was like talking about all these like big ideas about like a multiverse and how there's like infinite other universes that all have their own like laws of physics and that kind of thing, which is all kind of like theory and it's not really that backed up. The guy talking about the origins of life was just so blunt. Yeah, he was just like, look, we have no idea. Like, we really just don't know. It was just such a... He said it within the first few minutes. Like you said, it's like, how did he keep talking for an hour? I don't know how he did it.
So the other guy tried to car sales you into thinking that there was worth endeavour into the first question.
No, yeah,
I can't even remember. It was really obvious that I didn't, but I don't know what the first one was.
You walked out thinking, wow, I had no idea we knew more about the first second of the Big Bang. We know more about the beginning of time than we do about the origins of life, which just seems like, no way. I guess if we do. But yeah, we do. So yeah, cool.
It annoys
According
me
to the guy that looks like a pawn dealer.
annoyed me how the guy that asked the question, which I remember that you told us, about the simulation, he asked...
he got fobbed off. Is that annoying?
Yeah, he got fobbed off, but Lawrence was happy to extrapolate on his multiverse theory.
Yeah, good
Do you know
point.
what I mean? Like what?
Yeah,
They
I
seem
think it's
kind of similar to me.
Because, yeah, that's, I think, what... Yeah, and that's what the Davies dude, the dude that was like, we just don't know, said to Lawrence Krauss. Because, like, so the question the questioner was like, do you think it's possible that we're all just like in a computer simulation or something like that? And
What a dumb question.
it's all right. It's not that bad. But yeah.
If they're talking about multiverse and stuff.
That is so weird that Tom thinks that there is merit to the thought that we're in a computer simulation and that we're all Sims.
Well, I like the
like
thought
that idea.
exercise of it.
I mean, me too, but... Sure, I'd like to also own a pink tutu, but I don't own a pink tutu.
Yeah, no, like, I reckon it's an interesting idea. But yeah, I don't think there's anything, it's like I don't think it's true, but yeah, who knows. Mm-hmm. But that's exactly what he said was, because he was just like, well, yeah, it sounds like gobbledygook to me, and then just like dismissed it straight away with Lawrence Krauss. But then the guy was saying how, like, the whole thing about, like, the multiverse, it just kind of, like, sounds like a bit, like, theologic, like a bit, like, religious. Because it also doesn't explain the origins of the universe. It's like saying that, for instance, if you said, oh, the origins of life is that it came from Mars, like we were saying the other day, or like it came from another planet. That's not an origin story. That's just saying, like, all right, well, where did it come, what planet did it come from, and how did it arise there?
But you still don't acknowledge that that's a good thing to know, though. Which I still think I'd really like to know if it came on a comet on its own miniature au natural spaceship, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It'd be good to know, but it's still not an answer. It's not. It's like, saying...
It's not the end of the questioning.
Yeah. And in the same way to say...
It's a very important step, though, don't you think? If you could conclusively prove that.
Of course. Nobody's denying it's a nice thing to know.
Oh, we're not?
No. We're just saying it's not the end. Like, that's cool. But then there's, like, that extra step.
Then where did the life initially start?
Yeah.
And the same thing would be to say, like, oh, yeah, well, the Big Bang is just, like, one of, like, infinite inflations that, like, there's little, like, kind of points throughout this huge multiverse where, like, there's just tons of universes, and that's the start of the universe. Then the question would just be, well, what started the multiverse then? Where did that come from? Like, it's not... It's the exact same idea of saying, like, oh, well, you can't say God created the universe, because then what created God? Like, that's, it's the same problem. Like, you can't just do... It's called, like, infinite reductum or something like that. It's like just a dumb logic principle or whatever.
Right. Science is essentially one of those 6-year-olds that learns that if you keep asking the question why, eventually you get hit.
Yeah. Like, there should be an end result, but it seems like no one has it. But yeah, I don't know. That's not quite true. I bet they have a better answer, and I just don't really understand it that well. But like, yeah, the origins of the universe thing was really cool, though. Some of the like experiments, because the coolest thing I was thinking is like, how the big argument that Dye always has about science is he always says how science is like this thing where you can't really trust it because it's so like involved with like personal opinion. Like you're going to be entering the experiment saying like, oh, what tastes better, like Coke or I don't know, that's stupid. Like what's got more sugar in it, like this or
Coke
whatever these
or sugar.
I can't think of an example, but like what's this or this, and you're going into the experiment with like an intended result. Yeah. But like the reality, like, and that's his argument is saying, therefore, it's biased, and you're looking for what you want. So the scientific method doesn't work because it's not completely like factorless because the human mind is involved in it.
Ergo, the logical thing to become is a medieval fundamentalist Christian who is homeless.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
But it's not even right. I really don't think it's right anyway because it's just such a like. Because the coolest thing about heaps of these discoveries, for instance, the people that found like the background radiation or like just like dozens of these like very significant Nobel Prize winning like breakthroughs, discovered it because they were looking for something like completely different, or they were trying to find the answer and they found the opposite of what they wanted, and then that's the discovery. It was just like all these things where they just kept saying like these examples, and I just kept thinking like, well, there you go. The person wasn't looking for that response. That's just like how the universe is. Like, it just seems. But they were saying though that like the idea of consciousness is really cool in that way, because it is kind of something that it is still involved. Like the life existing kind of does affect how, you know, it's like, how do you measure the universe if you are part of the universe? Like it's very hard to.
You just plus your weight into the end equation.
yeah.
Just like when you're holding a turkey on your own scales.
Yeah.
And you're standing on top of it. We're 63-ish, 12 kilos.
Yeah.
That's where the consciousness thing falls down as well, isn't it? Because
you're yourself having.
You can't escape your own consciousness to investigate it.
And one of the other things was, it's kind of in more literal terms, like it's really difficult to even look outside of our own galaxy because it's so bright. It's like we're stuck in. It's like trying to like observe the Earth if you're stuck in your bedroom your whole life and you just can't get out and all you can see is out your window. It'd be so frustrating. Like we'll never be able to understand some things because we're stuck in this galaxy.
Do you think that if you were unable to leave your bedroom, after a while, if you did see a magpie outside, you'd start barking madly like a dog does?
Most definitely.
Yes.
Do you think that a lot of it is, it's a lot of it is just like, hey, pay attention to me, and fuck you! Like, at the same time, you got like two emotions going in your mind.
It was like you just before outside the studio where you like, because it's like soundproofed and you're like banging on the window or whatever, and we just like, we pleasantly just like couldn't see you or hear you.
I really know what it feels like to be a ghost now.
Locked
and
out.
Pleading with you, please, right my wrongs, I need to go to heaven. You're listening to Science Talk.
Okay, and second question.
I really reckon that is a lot of the reason as to why stake burnings happened during the whenever that was. I really feel that even I got annoyed at that when I was saying when I just said, it's good enough if they know that life came on a comet. Just stop asking questions. Shut up. It was a societal dad move, don't you think, to burn them at the stake?
All right, well, I think that's enough science talk.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Had a great day. Such a good day.
Deeply offended Tom. And in turn, Tom is about to deeply offend me.
Oh, yes. This will be awesome. So now we're doing Friendlyjordies.
Which ironically, the whole point of the Friendlyjordies name is because I wanted to keep the picture of me eating a raw squid up, which is anything but friendly, I think. It's a very aggressive gesture, isn't it? At the very least, it's saying, if you approach any further and touch my prey, I'll kill you.
It is.
Yeah.
Robbie's getting goosebumps thinking about it right now.
Yeah, what's the other... And the other origin of the name is to do with, like, paying out vloggers, right?
Yeah. Which is what I've become, exactly. And nobody seems to get it, and they're always writing, I love you, Friendlyjordies. They don't even know there's an S at the end. They just read most of it, and they go, yeah, Geordie sort of thing.
All right, so what we're going to do is Jordan is going to be unfriendly and try and...
Which is what I am anyway. Every single video I've ever done.
On a topic of Robbie and my choosing, and what we have chosen is the person that he loves more than anyone in the world.
Yep. Mum, Dad, throw yourself in front of a bus to save this guy.
Tony Robbins.
I love you.
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
The one and only. Success. I do agree with Di that giants did once walk this earth because it's in the Bible and there's proof in the likes of Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Fun tidbit before we start this exercise, he adopted a family when he married his first wife.
Really?
Which is a great thing to say for somebody who is a self-help guru who does relationship seminars and is a huge factor of his income.
Yep.
That he had a first wife.
Yeah. Scam artist. The biggest red flag about this guy is that he spruiks his own product, which is what? The sun
green energy.
Spirulina.
I can't remember. Yeah, something like spirulina, but it's a bunch of algae mushed together in a fine powder, much like the food product in Soylent Green, which turned out to be people. There's a lot of scientific words on the back, and yeah, the tagline of it is "It's like drinking sunshine."
Yeah. Jordan made me buy some once. It cost like $70.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I haven't had any of it. I had a tiny
And
bit.
he never looked back.
Yeah.
He looked back after the first capsule.
Yeah, it's good. Like the convincing of it was just like, man, like come on, you got to try it. Like think about it. Like what's the first thing the sun touches? This is what you're literally drinking is sunlight. It's pure energy. But the bit,
Where did I learn that? Tony Robbins.
Yeah. And he sells his own type of spirulina, and he's like, I don't care, don't buy mine, just buy it. Just it's that good, just buy it. But of
But we
course
do
they go
have it
buy
available on our website.
Yeah, go TonyRobbins.com.
Everyone's got to make a hustle. But the greatest thing about him, and I could just say, it's not even a nice thing to say about him, sort of is. Actually, yes, I've changed my mind completely. 360-degree turn, this is a great compliment. When he first started dating this woman, picked up his new son who was in kindergarten at the time from school. And the teacher runs out and goes, "Oh my God, you're the guy from TV. I thought that little Jimmy was just lying." And apparently his new son had been saying to everybody at school when he came up for show and tell, and it was that, "What does your daddy do, Day?" He goes, "My dad's a giant that lives in a castle and he rides a helicopter." It sounds like such bullshit. But Tony Robbins does own a castle. He's like 8 feet tall. And he flies a helicopter everywhere he goes.
Oh my God.
Does he?
The man is
Even to go to 7-Eleven, we'd be like, "One milk, please."
Yeah. Oh my God, he's got so many stories. Just how, he is like the self-help guru for like presidents. Like Tiger Woods would have him coach him like the night before like the final round of the Masters.
Can I just say that story as well before denigrating him? Because look, as much this is actually like a stake through my heart to say something bad about Tony Robbins.
I know it is. I know.
Yeah, I suppose that's why we're doing it. But he trained Tiger Woods with his neurolinguistic conditioning, which is to just get you in the peak state of championship, for 7 of his PGAs in a row. And each of them, he won millions of dollars. So Tony Robbins' fee, which is $1 million an hour at this point in his life, Tiger Woods on the 8th refused to pay him and then lost. And even Tiger Woods now attributes that to not hiring Tony Robbins, and he still does it now to this very day.
Why did he not pay him? He just didn't want to pay him because he didn't think it was worth it.
Yeah, because he just thought, like, this is all me. Like, he's not doing anything. But, man, like, if you're the best in the world at being like, "Hey, see this? This is a prize. Hey, focus. That's a good thing to pay for.
I just don't believe the story. I know the prize money is much more than $1 million. But yeah, I can understand the idea of it. So he hires Tony Robbins every time he plays a game now? Probably not
to
anymore.
my knowledge, which was relayed to me from Tony Robbins in, I think, 2004.
All right, so now you have to give us, like, just talk for a good minute or two why you hate Tony Robbins. Be unfriendly about it. And if you don't do it well enough, I'm going to spit in a glass of water and you have to drink it. And there's another surprise, which we'll reveal to you after, if you do a bad job.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. It's just, the man is perfect. Okay, he's just, he's such a shyster, getting up there and getting everybody pumped into this good emotional state when, what have they achieved apart from a goal life plan and, like how to get into peak states instantaneously?
No, say something bad about him.
I thought I was. That's as bad as only feeding 1 million people during Thanksgivings every year.
Oh, no.
That is just abysmal.
Charade off now.
You can silence me, but the only way to do that is to turn the mic off. I will not be silenced. Tony Robbins is great. Check him out on YouTube if you can't afford it. He changes your life.
So.
All right, so now, Jordan, that was obviously terrible. And
Yeah, I kind of just want the spit in the mouth because I think it'll be a really good ending to the pod.
well, the other thing is to celebrate marriage equality in America. We're going to be marrying Jordan and Robbie off.
Despite the fact that we're in Australia, we watch enough American TV to know what they sound like. Therefore, their rules apply.
And to consecrate the marriage, kind of like a Jewish wedding where they step on the bottle, Jordan is going to be drinking half a glass of water with a big lot of my spit in it.
Which he's going to deposit now.
And we are a very conservative, weird little creepy family that have years of Christian conditioning of saying that. Oh, God. That was not spit. That was a loogie. You put snot in that.
No, I didn't.
Bastard.
I didn't.
It was so yellow.
It's not yellow. It's all right. I've shaken it up a bit. All right. Here we go. Robbie, stand up.
Well,
Oh, God, it goes straight to the top. It really looks like, man, as
floating.
if this is how life was formed. Tom stepping into a time
Primordial
machine.
soup.
As soon as there was the first droplet of rain on Earth, he spat in it and then stepped back
And there you have it. Life.
Okay,
in
Tom.
that nerd jumper that he had.
All right. Drink the thing, mate.
Well, no, we need it.
Hey, you need to marry us
we're married.
first.
All right. Stand up.
No, let's...
All right. Just hold hands.
No,
Just hold
Yeah,
hands.
because the microphone.
Hold hands.
Oh, you're so sweaty and clammy. Johnny.
I was about to say the same thing about you, mate.
At least it's warm.
Fighting already.
Like a dead. You feel like a dead mollusk.
Squabbling. You dead mollusk. It's a new best.
Can you just get on with it?
Just get on with it then. All right. Okay.
As if Tony Abbott couldn't have just gotten that tiny little segment and said, "See, this is why gay people shouldn't be married." It was just
all right. Do you
abuse from
take
the
Jordan?
beginning.
Robbie, do you take Jordan to be your husband?
Yes, I do.
Jordan?
I don't think I've got an option, do I?
Yeah.
This is a shotgun wedding.
The clammy mollusk.
Shotgun, clammy mollusk wedding.
For punishment for not talking to Tony Roberts, I'm being married to a male clam and having to drink spit.
Do you take it, mate?
Golden clam.
Sure, why not?
All right, now drink the spit to congregate it.
Sorry,
Is that
to
even the
my
right
girlfriend.
word?
Congregate.
Congregate the marriage.
Is it
Consummate.
Consummate? Consummate?
Yeah, consummate.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, drink it down.
Hold my hand,
Oh, right, yeah,
you
sorry.
husband.
Okay.
Oh, this is
This
gross.
is
This is fantastic.
God.
Oh, man.
And I'm seeing my girlfriend
have
after
to drink
2
the
weeks of
whole lot.
not seeing her either. And I can just be like, good news, I got married to a man and I drank Tom's spit. Kiss me, baby.
It's a good, inch of water. Drink the whole thing.
no. Oh my god. At the end, there was a big bit of Tom's spit that connected to his lip and was still stuck to the cup.
And now it's on everybody's ground.
And
Oh my God. If you were to CSI this room, it'd be
that is
not that much worse, but there'd definitely be a little bit of spot there where there wasn't before because that was a huge piece of spit that came out of my mouth and none of it, 0% of that spit was mine. Tom is gagging. Tom is gagging at his own spit that's in the water, you freak. Why did you make me do that?
Yeah, all right.
Man, this
Thanks,
is exactly
guys.
what my mum was warning about when we first started doing outrageous stunts at the end of the pod, was that, look, one day you're going to do something you really regret. I think we hit that mark today. I can actually taste Tom's spit.
I'm going to vomit.
that's foul. That's absolutely foul.
Good night, everybody.